You're literally like the fourth person to say that I don't do newborns, and I'm included in that list as well.
It's tough. Like when I do family photos, and especially if they have a newborn, because they are literally a sack of potatoes. They don't move. They don't even sit up. Like they just. So I'll do it, but I do more kind of like candid and like lifestyle. So it's like play with the child. I don't want to touch the child because I'm scared I'm gonna break it, which you won't. But I just it's so intimidating to do it, and to see what Sunny does and what she does with it, it blows my mind. So
it's a different creative space for sure.
Yeah,
and like posing the child, having to deal with like feeding them in between, making sure they're comfortable,
cleaning up when explosions happen.
Different kinds of explosions.
Many facets, many faucets, many places.
Where's the off button?
Oh, I don't think there is an off button.
Not with kids, no. Thanks everybody for joining us on another episode of It Was F8, brought to you by Dawn's Photo, where we talk to your local photographers, get to know them a little bit better. I'm your host, Jess Loso, and today we're joined by Dwayne.
It's me!
Mario.
It's me! Dwayne!
That's going to be your name from now on.
I opened up that cat box.
There you
whatever.
go.
I don't even know if cat box is a thing, but I don't know.
Cat box?
It is patent pending.
So let's get started.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the industry.
I mean, I moved here, like you reminded me before we started recording, 12 years ago now. It doesn't seem like it's been 12 years, but 12 years. Went to what was Prairie View Photography School, which is how we met.
Yes.
Went through that because I was working in the oil field in Saskatchewan before, and I was just like, I'm done this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this job anymore. I want to kind of flex my art muscle, if you want to call it that, and do stuff. So then I went to Prairie View for the year, worked at a local camera shop after that, and then just decided it's time to do this full time. So quit there, and then just started doing photography full time. Kind of one of those things. It's like, or get off the pot. So it had to happen.
You made the magic happen.
There was some magic, I guess, sure.
So what do you primarily shoot?
A lot of what I shoot, I kind of go all over the place. Mostly weddings, a lot of concerts. I love shooting music. Music is kind of my jam. It's what I love doing. It's my happy place. It doesn't pay a lot, or it doesn't pay anything sometimes, but it's like my stress reliever. It's my happy place, like I said, and it's what I love doing. So yeah, I shoot event photography for like award ceremonies for like large corporations and stuff like that. So it's great because I just react. I don't have to set anything up, and I just kind of do that.
What's one area you'd love to delve into?
I don't really know. I kind of do everything I love doing. Like, actually no, I think I know. I'd like to do a more, like David LaChapelle,
yes,
the photographer, something like that, like a full set build. Not that I want to do that, but have it in my mind and get someone to build it and then light it, and then you're just shooting a shot. One single one, obviously more than one, but that would be kind of something. So I guess a little more commercial, high fashion, but not fashion because I'm not a fashion person unless someone else is styling everything, and just I'm more into shooting it. So that would probably be one of the big ones I'd like to do, and I do have one sort of already kicking around in my head that I'd like to do.
It's kind of like a fine art piece.
Yeah, that's kind of makes a statement without,
it being, I guess, compartmentalized into one genre. Right?
Yeah, and you're not like doing like a commercial shot for like Gucci or something like that. Just like, it's just something in my head that I thought of and make it some art.
What was your first camera?
Well, if you want to get real technical, probably a disposable camera.
Okay.
That's probably my first one. But other than that would be, I still got it. I went through Prairie View with it. It's a Rebel XTI, I think. So that would have been my first actual camera that I used and didn't really know how to use it until
we went to school.
Like I kind of knew, but it was just in the green auto mode.
Do you have a go-to piece of equipment?
My camera?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite piece?
I do. I mean, right now I'm shooting Nikon. I switched from Canon to Nikon. But I would say, like, other than my body, My favorite piece of equipment would be my 35 mil.
Okay.
Like I've got a Sigma 35 mil art lens, and that's on 85% of the time.
Yeah. Do you have a dream piece of equipment?
I don't have gas. I don't have gear acquisition syndrome. I don't really have that. There's a lot of amateur, quote unquote amateurs, that have way nicer stuff than I do.
Yeah.
I buy stuff that makes me money.
Yeah.
I guess right now would be, I'm thinking of going mirrorless. So a new body would be wonderful, and it's going to happen sooner than later. My dream piece, like out of the world, if I had $1 million to buy the biggest telephoto lens I could get.
Really?
That would be it.
What would you use it for?
Concerts.
Yeah.
I would use it once in a blue moon, but like having, I don't even know what the biggest one is. I think I've seen like 1,000 millimeter from Sigma, that big huge Canon thing. That, because when I get stuck back to the soundboard, it's like I'm right there then. It's like, I don't care, cool. I've just got to bring a whole rigging thing to hold this
You're going to need 5 tripods.
Yep. So yeah, I guess that would be it, because I don't really lust after gear at all. Like,
no, I think it's easy to do so when you're first starting out, right?
Yeah.
Because you have so many options. And then once you kind of get a feel for like how you like shooting, you know, you get acquainted with your gear, then it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm, you know, sticking with this brand, or, you know, like my camera does enough, and cameras do a lot these days.
And especially once you figure out that all of a sudden that 24-70 has sat on the shelf for 6 months and you haven't touched it, it's like, yeah, I don't need this because I'm using my primes. Or, I mean, obviously having every lens ever available would be wonderful, but I don't need them. Like, I like keeping a nice little thing where I can just throw everything into my backpack and go.
Do you have a favorite place that capture or to enjoy?
So many places have their benefits, their drawbacks. Like for concerts, I love shooting the big arena shows, like here in Winnipeg at the Burt or Canada Life Place. You get big production, you get, you know, big crowd. It's, I don't want to say it's easier to shoot, but you get a show. It's a spectacle. It's kind of fun. You get pyro. But then there's like shooting at the Park Theater. It's still big, but it's a lot more intimate. So there's like, everyone's kind of more into it. You're kind of crammed, packed together a little bit more. That's kind of more of a community feel.
It's
just
the
about it shows.
right?
Yeah. And then weddings, I mean, give me anywhere. Just as long as it's outside. I don't like being stuck in the studio too much. I just feel very restricted in any kind of studio setting. I'm just like, let's just go outside. I'll put a light up outside. Let's do that. Like,
no walls.
Yeah, I don't break that fourth wall.
Do you have a favorite photo? And it could be of yours or of somebody else's work.
There is a photo of a guy named Tony Sly. I shot it when he played here in Winnipeg at the Pyramid. He played with a guy named Dave Haas. I arranged it through their agent to shoot their portraits before the show. And fast forward a couple years, he ended up passing away. They did he was in a band called No Use for a Name. I sent it to the Fat Records person. I'm like, here's 5 or 6 photos that I have. If you can use them, great. If you can't, cool, whatever, that's fine. Went away camping, came back on the weekend, actually checked by email, and they're like, yeah, they want to use it for the cover of his tribute album. It's a bittersweet thing, because if I could take that photo back and still have him and have his music, I would love that. But I didn't make, it's probably the one I'm most well known for without being well known for it. Like, people wouldn't necessarily know it's mine. I always look at it, it's my one way I've given back to the punk rock community that I love and that has given me so much and so many friends. So that's, I guess, my favorite photo. And it's not even that technically great, it's just...
But there's a lot of meaning behind it, right?
Yeah. And the fact he was just nice enough, it literally took me 5 minutes to shoot it. Like, I shot 30, 40 frames in 5 minutes, and one light setup on a backdrop, and we were done. Like, it was great.
What's your ultimate photography goal?
As I've gotten older, it's changed. Before, it was to do like tour photography or videography now. That would still be great. It would take a lot for me to want to leave my house and my province for like 2-3 months at a time. Like, I don't know if I'd be into that so much anymore, as long as I've got like an actual bunk on a bus or a hotel room.
Makes sense.
Sure, I would do it. I'm pretty much happy with where I'm at. There's no, I just want to keep creating great stuff for doing concerts, for myself, for the people I work for. I guess my goal would be just to keep learning and keep figuring stuff out and not become stale and old and just not care anymore.
What's your craziest story related to photography?
Me and my friend Melissa Johnstone started up a podcast. This was kind of her baby, in which we get it's called Filters Removed, and we get other photographers' stories, if they're cringy, if they're funny, if they're horrible, and then we read them and just react to them. And there literally are no filters. People know way too much about me if you've ever listened to the podcast. Things you probably don't want to know.
Or do want to know.
And call me out on later. There was one story where some guy that shot real estate, and he was in there without the realtors being there, or agents or anyone. They just said, here's the keys, go in here, shoot it, lock up, put it back in the lockbox, leave. So he was doing that, or she, I don't remember if it was a guy or, no, it was a guy. And he really had to go to the bathroom. And it was really hot, and there was like no air conditioning in there because they had turned the air conditioning off. So he stripped down to his underwear, went a number 2, swamped out the whole plate, it was gross, he said. And he's like a sweaty hot mess, taking photos afterwards. He's like, the bathroom is disgusting. And then the agent's assistant comes in, and then he heard voices, and he's sitting there in his underwear, sweaty. And I'm like, how am I ever going to compete with that? Like, that's, I don't have photo stories like that.
I don't know if you want photo stories like that.
Not
for yourself. We'll hear about it.
For other stuff? Yeah. That's great.
We'll hear about it on your podcast.
Yes. I guess mine would be, I've shot some meet and greets for the folks at True North.
Okay.
So, I've met Lady Gaga, which was great. She was very nice. I shot her meet and greet. My biggest one, I got to shoot Garth Brooks' meet and greet. And I love me some Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
So that, I have never been so nervous for a shoot in my entire life. And it's literally a grip and grin. It's one camera, one flash. The execs go around, shake, click, 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 that's it. But I was so nervous, and he was the sweetest human being ever. He came in, and he's like, hey, my name's Garth, what's your name? And he shook my hand, and I was just like, everyone says you're nice, and he truly was really, really nice. So that's my craziest one, I guess. Okay. It's not really that crazy, it was just super cool.
It was a moment for you.
It was a huge moment. I loved it.
Keep it forever.
Yes.
What is the piece of advice that you would give to those looking to get into photography?
Just do it. People ask you, what's the best camera? Whatever you have. I probably take more photos on my phone for personal stuff than I do with my camera ever, because I don't want to carry my camera around. It's big, it's expensive. I can't just put it down, not that I put my phone down and leave it anywhere, but just whatever you have, take it. And then if you want to get serious about it, then start looking at, Canon, Nikon, Sony, any of those brands, and really figuring out that, hey, I want to do this or I don't. So it's just do it, screw up, make mistakes.
Yeah.
Find out what not to do, check out YouTube. There's so many resources now instead of the old boys club where they wouldn't let anyone else in and be like, no, we're not going to tell you anything, which I find Winnipeg not too much like that. They're very inclusive. Everyone's super chill. I've asked Ian McCausland questions, and he's like, yeah, it's like this and this and whatever. And it's like, thank you.
You said that one of the shows that you like watching is Superstore. I have some Superstore questions for you to see how well you know Superstore.
Oh, well, let's hope for the best here.
Okay. So what kind of YouTube videos does Adam invest in?
Is it barbecue?
Yes.
Yes.
The grilling video. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, the grilling videos. What theme did Jerry and Sandra have for their wedding?
Was it like a boat theme?
Yes. So it was nautical.
Yes.
But it was funny because the only place that they could rent for the venue was a Western themed restaurant. What city is Jonah originally from?
Is he New York?
No.
Is he somewhere East Coast?
Kinda.
Because it's
not East Coast, but Eastern.
I'm not even sure. I don't know.
He's from Chicago. What is Cheyenne and Bo's daughter's name?
Oh, jeez. I don't know.
Any guess?
I'm going to say harpsichord. I don't know.
You're not far off from like the age. It's harmonica. Which employee is Glenn's brother-in-law?
Is he the optometrist? No.
No,
Not sure.
it's Elias. Elias is the one. He doesn't have a lot of lines. He kind of just hangs around in the background a lot.
Yeah.
Has glasses.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever.
They mention it very like in passing.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Halloween episode, who do they find in the wall?
Oh, God, I watch him on TikTok all the time. He's the creepy guy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but he's the creepy weirdo that nobody likes and they find him in the wall.
Yeah, creepy Sal. So the last bit is you get to read a photography pun.
Oh.
So you get to pick which one it is, and when you pick it, you're gonna look
That
directly
one?
into the camera, be as convincing as possible.
How many photographers does it take to change the light bulb?
I don't know.
50. One to change the bulb, and the 49 to say, I could have done that.
Dwayne, thanks for coming
No
in.
problem. I'm glad there wasn't that much water in there.
And thanks for joining us on another episode. Until FA brings us back together, we'll see you next time.